Get ready for Real Talk with Pastor B in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Real Talk with Pastor B. It's Pastor B. I'm here today.
You know, I don't even like how you just
I'm here today.
Switched it up like that.
I know. You wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready.
Come on. We ready. Let's go. What's up, Shanika? How you doing?
Hey, Pastor. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I am swell. Today, we will be discussing social media and the effects that it has on relationships, careers, our self-esteem, also just our mental brain matter. So in researching and getting ready for this podcast, I actually found out that it actually rewires the brain and how we process information. So I'm looking forward to this discussion today. Today we have joining us Miss Sylvia. She's recorded with us before in the past. Welcome, Sylvia.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Sylvia.
Hey, Sylvia.
Hey, y'all.
We also have with us today Mr. Sincere. Sincere is a spoken word artist. He's the author of 30 Love Laws and also the host of the Arts and Culture Show. Welcome, Sincere.
Thank you, sister. What's up, sisters, brothers, kings, and queens?
Welcome.
So, social media. I want to just go left field with this right quick. So, social media, the good, the bad, and ugly, right? So, people tend to get themselves in trouble with social media. Recently in the news, Miss Roseanne Barr. Miss Roseanne Barr got Twitter happy. Has she been quiet recently? I think she has, or at least the media hasn't been paying attention to her. I'm going to say that. She posted a tweet on May 28th talking about, I think her name is Valerie Jarrett. She is a can we use the word ex-Obama administration?
Former. Thank you, Sylvia.
Right. She's was under the Obama administration, and she tweeted, gonna quote it: Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby equals VJ, and that was in regards to Valerie Jarrett. So, social media has hurt a lot of people's careers, their relationships, hers. Subsequently, her show, what is the Roseanne Show?
The Roseanne Show that they recently
reignited.
Yes, a
reboot. Yes,
she got that clipped right after that,
and a whole bunch of people lost their jobs because of her mouth, her mouth with an F, mouth,
and her thought that she can go on social media and say anything that she wants to. Right.
So I have a question. So already. So I'm just going to pose it. So social media, you can go and say whatever it is you want to say. Do you think she should have been fired? Sincere, we're going to start with you. Do you think she should have been fired?
I absolutely think that she should have. Now, I know that there's been a speak on free speech, and what that means and how we should use it or how we have the availability to use it. But you have to understand that when you stand on a platform, it's not just you're representing something. So we have to be careful with how we pose our thoughts. It's not often what you say, it's how you say it. So you have to also take into account who you're speaking to when you say what you say.
And who you're speaking about.
Absolutely.
Sylvia?
Representation is huge. And it's not like Joe Schmo who's just some random person spewing off whatever they want to spew off. She represents not only herself, but the network that her show is on. So at the end of the day, people are like, you're not gonna mess up my money. I might agree with you. I might feel the same way about the person you're talking about, but I'm not gonna allow your reckless tweeting or posting or whatever the case may be mess up my money. And she would have, to me, I feel like they let her go not because of a moral issue, but more about money.
About the coin.
Yeah.
Because they knew who she was. Because
Right.
this isn't her first
Right.
rodeo.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
This isn't her first rodeo.
Well, I also say I think she forgot that she was an employee.
Mhm.
Like, this wasn't her own. She may be a brand,
Right.
but it wasn't Roseanne channel. It was the ABC network.
Mhm.
So, as Sylvia was saying, you're representing the brand and you're causing the brand money. So, there's repercussions. I can't walk into my job as a federal employee
Right.
and act a fool.
Right.
Mhm.
And I just think that she thought she could. So, when we parallel this to our lives, bringing it down to our lives and how social media kind of builds this facade
Mhm.
of what you think you can do, and you can because you have freedom of speech,
Right.
but then there are repercussions behind that,
Right.
whether that be the dissolution of relationships, whether that be you losing your own job,
Mhm.
whether you work at Walmart or not.
Mhm.
You know, these companies use social media in order to determine someone's character,
Right.
or just to see who's talking shit about them.
Right.
We do cuss. I'm sorry. You know that. We cuss.
Mm-hmm.
But how important is, and Shanika, I can cuss now because, you know, the first podcast, it was still early. It was like, you know, it was early, but
Express yourself.
express
yourself.
So how involved do you think, or how much is social media a part of people's lives?
May I?
You can.
And this is embarrassing for me. Okay, I'm grown, so I'm sitting at my desk, and I check my social media while I'm at work. If it's slow, whatever. But my phone was charging, and I said, "Oh, it's not charging fast enough. Let me turn it off and plug it up into the, to the charger." I'm working, and I keep reaching for my phone.
Mhm.
And I'm like, my brain is like,
Program.
"Hello,
Right.
your phone is turned off so you can charge it. Why do you keep reaching?" Because I'm so used to doing it. And I had to really sit back and go, "Are you freaking kidding me?
Mhm.
I'm not a kid. I'm not constantly posting something every minute of the day. This is not how I make my money."
But we're
Why-
programmed.
But we're programmed to it. Like, if we will lose our wallet. Like, oh no,
Yep.
my identification, my social security card,
Lose your phone.
my cash.
Mhm.
Lose
But
that
lose
phone.
that phone.
People go
Oh my
back
God.
home to get their phones
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
before they probably, unless if you had anything on you. Like, I will leave the house, not purposely, but if I have my license, I'm gonna ride out. My phone? This is the only way people can communicate with me.
Right.
I have to go back and
You
get
go
it.
into panic
Right.
mode.
I go into panic mode, and you don't feel like yourself if you leave your phone someplace. I've left my phone at home a couple of times going to work, and I'm kind of like,
You do not turn around and go back because
I
I know
don't.
where you live and I know where you work.
I
It's
don't.
like separation
Okay.
anxiety.
I don't, but I feel some kind of way
Mhm.
that
All day
whole
long.
day.
Look, I will change my voicemail message. I have left my phone home, and I'm like, "Hi,
Now that's disrespectful.
I've left my phone home. I
No,
don't
you
have."
did.
Yes, I
Sylvia.
have. Yes, I have.
Mhm.
Not recently. This is probably
Mhm.
like maybe 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole day, I can call from a landline and check my voicemail messages. That's when people used to leave voicemails.
Voicemail.
People
Yeah.
don't leave
Right.
voicemails
No.
anymore.
Right. Right.
But yeah. And then when I get home and be like, "How many text messages?" did I get?" So, it's such a huge part of us. And that's good and bad. Because it is a source of information.
Mm-hmm.
It is a source of communication. But it is an addiction.
It is.
Right. It's uncontrolled.
It
It's
is.
not control.
Like, it's one of those things that it's supposed to have its priority.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's access.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what it is.
It's purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I use mine for business. I
Mhm.
use mine for communicating
Mm-hmm.
with people.
Mhm.
But if it doesn't have its proper perspective,
Exactly.
or if it doesn't have its proper place, then it assumes control,
Exactly.
and you lose it.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Look, go to drop your phone. If you drop your
You'll be
phone
like,
and it's
"Oh!"
like it's falling in slow motion, you're like, no. You know what I'm saying?
And then if it lands face down, you're kind of, when you turn it over, you're like, "Oh my God, did the screen crack?"
That's intense prayer right there. Lord Jesus, the store ain't open right now.
Right.
I can't get it until Monday. Please, with everything in you. If you ever love me,
Exactly.
Oh my
All right, we
goodness.
good.
And it's so funny you talk about just being distracted, because I was watching a video on YouTube. Actually, this morning they were talking about how the brain is actually rewired. And
Right.
it is an addiction, Sincere,
Right.
as you
Yeah.
said earlier. And now we have an inability to concentrate. And the thing is, I've noticed that in myself. And I was having a conversation with a couple of my coworkers. Growing up, I loved to read. Like, I would catch the city bus to go to the library and read books.
Mhm.
Right now, I have like 5 books and 2 on Kindle. I can't even concentrate enough to read.
Right.
And I'm talking to my friend, and I'm just like, I know this is a problem. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like a crackhead. Like,
Right.
why can't I concentrate? This is somebody who grew up loving to read, but I recognize how it's affected my ability to concentrate. And this is one of the things that they were talking about on this YouTube channel that I was watching. It actually rewires they call it fragmented conversation, fragmented something. I don't know. It don't matter. But essentially, it affects our ability to just focus, because we're so used to reaching for the phone, thinking we're missing something.
Exactly.
It's not even that you're tweeting or you're updating your post. You just think you're missing something. You want to
Right.
see what's
Right.
going on. You know.
Right.
So there was a study that was done this year in 2018 by the Pew Research Center. And you're bringing up YouTube. So roughly 2/3 of U.S. adults, that's 68%, now report that they are Facebook users, and roughly 3/4 of those users access Facebook on a daily basis. 73% are also YouTube users, and Facebook and YouTube dominate the landscape, and they are the most major or notable social media outlet that people use in the United States currently as adults.
That's
I was like,
scary.
look at Shanika, she about to check her phone to get
No.
on Facebook. This is shady.
I'm actually writing a note
Let me see
down.
if that's right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
So in regards to how we have allowed for Facebook especially, and well, YouTube now has become like a part of Google, right?
Yes.
Need to do something, want to learn how to change a tire, go on YouTube. There's
Mhm.
videos
Right.
there. So it's become like a reference tool, how encyclopedias and dictionaries used to be. And it has taken up so much of our time that we can also, again, get these unrealistic concepts or perceptions about life because we're being fed by this electronic
Right.
information.
Right.
We had a discussion prior to. Shanika actually posted something on her social media, and the question was, Shanika?
Oh shoot. She passed it to me and I wasn't ready, Sincere. She see me writing. It's okay. It's okay. Give me one moment.
She
This is what
posted
we're
it on
talking
her
about.
social media. She should have a gist of what
Oh my
the,
God.
the
I want-
question
I
I
saw
want-
it this morning.
I
when
want to read it verbatim. The question was, what are some social media rules or expectations for people in relationships? Can partners have social media? Do you have to have access to their account? Must they unfriend all attractive people?
Wow.
LOL.
And then there was also a piggyback in regards to of a video. Potentially, how do you feel when your partner likes
Yes.
people of the opposite sex's
Oh, my
photos?
Yes, because I was watching a video and this young lady, she has a YouTube channel. So she posts often. And one of the posts she puts on there is that her significant other, he cannot go on and like or comment on other women's posts because she feels as though if you're walking down the street, you would not be like, ooh, I like you. Ooh, love. Ooh, you. she was a little exaggerated with her thought process, I feel. But she feels like people don't communicate like that naturally and in person. So why would you do it online? And she feels that it's a bit disrespectful as far as, especially with other women, specifically with other women. So she just has a problem with that. I process that as insecurity.
Absolutely.
Absolute insecurity. And I think Pasha, she made a comment earlier, just because he doesn't verbalize it, he's thinking it.
Right.
That's
Right.
nice. I like that. You
Okay.
know. So
That's what we do.
that how about that's what we do as
Right.
well.
Right. Y'all just do it better.
We do
That's
because
it.
we take a picture. Y'all be videotaping. Y'all gotta
Right.
y'all gotta
we
watch
visual
it walk
creatures,
down the
so
street.
we got the
Right.
snapshot, record. Okay.
Right.
All right. Okay. Maybe my woman is looking, so maybe I need to pull back a little bit. Okay.
Absolutely. So with that, what I did find out is that Facebook specifically is implicated in 1/3 of divorces across the board. So social media is having an impact on relationships, which is why I posed the question. So, Sylvia, Sylvia.
I don't know if I like the way you said
No.
that.
So my question is, to the question that I posed to the group, are there rules that you and a significant other have or had in the past as it relates to social media?
First of all, my significant other doesn't like the word rules.
Mm-hmm.
That rules
Expectations.
rules
Is that
equate
better?
rules equate to restrictions in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that. Because especially if we're grown, you know what I'm saying? We should have a foundation of respect. And one of the things that I feel is if you won't do it in front of my face, don't do it on social media. You know what I'm saying? Like if we, just like you said, we're walking down the street, you're not going to be like, hey girl, heart emoji. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to do that in front of me. Then, you know, and then I think also the other issue is the accessibility of a person once they, you know, once this person sees that, oh, this particular guy keeps liking my picture, let me slide in his DMs, you know, and be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I don't have rules. I said, respect me.
Well, and so just listening to that, so there are some people who, I don't think it's what you say, is how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that I would not compliment another man in front of my significant other, that may not be true. Because I may say, I may be with a significant other and say, oh, Cecilia, you're wearing that. I just gave you a compliment. So, and I did it in front of my significant other.
It's the type of compliment.
So that's what I'm saying. Not that I wouldn't give the compliment, but how it's delivered.
Right.
So do we differentiate between that, or in general, is it I don't want you going on anybody's pages doing X, Y, Z?
If you know your mate,
mm-hmm.
if your mate is flirtatious, if your mate has cheated or flirted within, you know, your relationship and made you uncomfortable at one time or another, you know
that he's doing it online too.
Yeah, you know that. So why are you surprised? You know what I'm saying? If he does it in your face, he'll do it behind your back. And that's if it's in that person. Like I have a bunch of Facebook friends. Some I know personally, some I met on Facebook or whatever, as far as guys are concerned. And I have, you know, I'll post a picture and they'll be like, hey, beautiful, you look good. Thank you. And then if the compliment goes beyond that point, that I deem it disrespectful, because I wouldn't want my boyfriend saying that to another woman, I will delete that message. I will delete that comment. Because it's like, if you know me, you know I got a dude. And you putting all this extra stuff on here, basically saying, screw your dude, I don't care nothing about that. You look good. I like the way them jeans fitting. Da-da-da-da-da. Delete.
Gotcha. So Sincere, is this a conversation that's had prior to there being an incident?
No, for me, I am totally on my own planet because I 100% trust my wife because I know who I married. I married my friend. So the only rule that we have is do you. That's the only rule that we have. So
is this another podcast? Okay, go ahead, continue.
So in respect to social media, social media is based on the life that we live outside of social media. So she already knows me. I know her. We have truthful, open, and honest conversation. So nothing that's done on social media is going to catch my attention. I don't look at her social media accounts. Those are hers. They belong to her.
And that's what so how important, and because again, we're plugged in,
right?
Why do we need to be friends and follow your significant other or your mate.
Right.
My philosophy is, if we're not in anything serious, and I still don't know about even the serious part because I have not accepted friend requests after being serious, I don't think we need to be friends on social media, because I think it goes back to the philosophy. If you look hard enough for something, you're going to find something. And your social media persona, as long as it's not to the point where it's just blatant disrespect to whomever,
Right.
You're probably going to find something that you don't like. You're probably going to find something that you can question and be like, oh, who's that? And you wouldn't know if you weren't friends with the person. I'm not saying be oblivious to the situation,
Right.
but if your man or your woman is creeping on social media, he or she's creeping in real life. So it don't make a difference.
Right.
Me and my guy met in a social group on Facebook. And in that group, it wasn't a dating group. It was just Black and Grown. And that was a shameless plug, by the way. Anyway, and it was a lot of flirting in the group amongst all of us. Okay. Some folks were married, some folks were in, boyfriend, girlfriend relationship, but their significant other wasn't in the group. So when he and I started dating or started talking or whatever, he kind of, he's still a part of the group, but he doesn't comment. He doesn't post anything unless it's political and we're going to talk about it. He kind of just faded to black on his own.
So his persona, his social media, at least for this group, his social media persona changed?
Yes. He said, I got you.
Through here.
Why I need to be up in here, acting a fool. I don't want no issues. I think you're a little bit crazy. So I'm going to fall back.
So what I'm hearing is he knows what the result was of that behavior. And if he continued with that behavior, then it could possibly lead to a problem.
He said, I don't have a purpose in there anymore. He said, I come in there and I'll throw a funny meme up in there from one time or another, or I'll post something political, to spark conversation about that said topic. But other than that being in there constantly in the interaction, I don't need to do it. And that was his choice. That wasn't something that I asked him to do. He did that on his own. And I let him, and I've gotten asked, oh, what, where Kay at? I don't see him post. I'm like, he's doing his thing, whatever that is, And we are friends on his personal page. Now I don't know if he has an alias page because that happens too. But on his personal page, his friends, his family, I see the stuff he posts. Some stuff I comment on, some stuff I don't. But I'm not constantly on his page like, what's going on here? Who is liking his post? Who liked his picture? Da 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 da. I don't care about it. I'm lazy. That's a lot of work.
You're right. Our interactions with social media have actually been linked to higher levels of loneliness, anxiety, depression, envy, narcissism, and this is a big one. Decreased social skills.
Yes.
No.
I agree with that.
No.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Social media allows you to view a hyped up digital version of the world, especially exaggerated versions of positive things that happens in people's lives, right?
So compare your lives to them.
And then this triggers the depression, the anxiety. Because I'm going to tell you, and we talked about this, I think we talked about this last weekend. It is the in thing to be booed up on social media. The matching goddamn outfits, the vacations, we going out this weekend, we shopping together.
Right.
And if that's your normal life, that's fine. But people are doing it to the point where I think they got a personal photographer that's around them, right? Because some of these Instagram pictures, y'all plant this. You didn't go to Target. Right. Y'all got dressed.
But you made a very good point, because what I know, so a couple things I know. First of all, let me throw this out here. Some of you out there, we know you in real life. What? And people forget that. We know you in real life. So sometimes I'm on social media and I'm just like,
oh my God.
Really? Like, you lying. Stop it. And to your point, I know people, and I know people who know people, they save pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they went on vacation
6 months ago.
6 months ago, and you posting like you there now. You know what I'm saying? They saving pictures, changing outfits, taking different pictures
on vacation to store them for that time in which they about to blow your feed up. So you thinking every weekend these people is doing it.
No. Yeah,
no,
not.
That's a 5 outfit change in the last 30 minutes.
And it wasn't even vacation, it was their family reunion. Yeah, and they just stood by a palm tree, you know.
Right.
Taking a picture. Like, I know people who do this.
Let me tell you something. In that same group, there was a guy in the group. I went to high school with him. All 4 years. Mm-hmm. And he was a pain in the ass. He was the person that got on everybody's nerves when we were in school. And somebody posted a meme that said, "Who were you in high school? Were you the jock? Were you the ladies' man? Were you the cheerleader? Were you the nerd? Da 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 da. Were you the one that was just cool with everybody?"
And what he say?
I already know what kind of lie.
I wish y'all could have saw my face because it almost turned inside out. This joker said he was the ladies' man.
He was. You just didn't know,
Hunty.
In his own head.
He said he was super popular, and he was the ladies' man. And my response, because y'all, I'm petty, okay?
Is this James? This still James we talking about?
I said, "What high school did you go to again?"
Oh.
He's like, "Come on, Sil. Don't be like that. You know I was what?"
He tried it.
I'm like, dude, your sister was popular. That's how people knew of you because of your sister. But people didn't like you. But that was just me. And then I thought about it. And I said, you know what? I can't keep commenting on this man's lies. And his lies is going to start to get on my nerves. So I said to myself, because my mom taught me, you don't complain about a situation. You have the ability to change. So what I did was I unfriended him and I blocked him so that I could not see the lies that he was telling. So I could not comment on the lies he was telling. Kept me from being petty with him and made my life a whole hell of a lot easier when I was in that group. But he lied hard.
So these people who feed themselves based upon their reality and their use of social media in regards to their self-esteem or even the regular person's self-esteem. What does that look like? Like, for you to sit here and get on social media and develop a persona, and you're in, somebody knows somebody who knows somebody, and everybody know everybody, right? So here it is, you're in a group with someone who's lying about who he was back in the day. I wonder, for self-esteem, what type of context does that put in for him? Because he had to then say to you, try to coax you through the lie and be like, don't be like that. Nah, dude, you're lying. So social media has gotten to the point where it either heightens people's self-esteem or it could lower people's self-esteem. And
I don't know, even with the perceived heightening of self-esteem, I think it's a false heightening of self-esteem.
Absolutely.
It is, but if you are so plugged into social media, that's all you care about. You can get on social media. Some people got social media pages that are popping, right? That's who they are.
Because that's all they had.
Because that's all they had. It may not be real, but that's your perception. Social media has infiltrated our minds so much. We are living in the matrix. I don't know what pill people done took, but we are there to the point where that's all they know and that's all they care about. People get emotional when you unfollow them.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. You look like you have something to say, Sincere.
Absolutely. And of course, I think it's ridiculous. Because my social media is predicated on what I do. Me being an artist, speaker, author, all of that. So that's most of my communication. But when I look at the youth, I work with youth. That's their whole thing. So when we talk about self-esteem, doesn't that have to come from within self? And we're using social media for that to be the catalyst for our self-esteem, how backwards is that?
Absolutely.
How do we? And I'm not even talking about us. I think we're all grounded to a certain level, but we have family and friends, and we're in society with people who this is their life. This is the truth about their life. Social media. So, what are some things that you think that we can do? How do we keep grounded? How do we keep people around us grounded when it comes to social media?
Perfect question, sister. Because what I do when I get up, I don't touch my phone. I spend time with me, myself, the creator, and my wife. Then the day gets started with the phone and appointments and all of that stuff. So I spend time with self to sharpen my saw, to get in that creative space, to choose how I want my day to go. Then I pick up the phone. So I assume control first and foremost. Then I use the accessories to help me maintain my day, which a phone, social media is one of those things. But it has its proper priority. And I gave it the priority.
You gave it the priority.
So that's what we have to do, is understand that this thing I control is not supposed to control me.
And when you talk about self-esteem, that's a mental thing. And if you've gone through, depending on how old you are, depending on what you've been exposed to and how you feel about yourself, like if you've never been told you were pretty, or you've never been told that you look good, but then you get on social media and you taking these pictures and you know your angles, and all of a sudden you got 150.
Them angles be real, man. I found mine.
Okay, I know
you hold it up
Sunny
like that.
knows her angles, okay? But if you've never been told you were beautiful or that you look good, or like girl,
without the filters,
without the filters, okay? Social media, and you next thing you know, you got 150 likes. I feel like you the shit.
Right.
Yes, because I know them angles, okay? And these people don't know me. They don't know me personally. They don't know that I'm insecure. They don't know that my mom. They don't know. I'm not talking about me specifically, but they don't know that my mom never told me I was cute, or my daddy wasn't around to tell me I was pretty. So I looked for attention in all the wrong places. But here I am on Twitter, and here I am on Instagram and on Facebook, and everybody is loving me. And now I feel important. And then let you post one picture and you only get 20 likes.
And on the opposite side of the spectrum, when I was reading, they were talking about how it has a negative impact on self-esteem. So prior to social media, people were bullied. People, going to school, but you had an opportunity to check out, right? Yeah. So with social media, there is no opportunity to check out. So you may be bullied at school or at work or what have you, but then that bullying transitions to the home because you're on social media and you don't get an opportunity to recoup from that.
Exactly.
Or even to redirect your attention to something else so that you're not constantly bombarded with all that negative feedback.
Exactly. Exactly. I was telling my stepdaughter, who's 17, she and I were talking, and we were talking to her dad actually about bullying, and he's old school. He's the same age as I am, so he's like, bullying is just part of, growing up, da 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 da. You know how our parents talk. You got to have a tough skin and this, that, and the third. But just like you said, Shanika, we had an opportunity to disconnect. Yeah, I got bullied at school, but now I'm home and I'm safe. If your home life is safe, I'm home and I'm safe, and I don't have to deal with this until tomorrow, and I'll be good tomorrow. And we don't have these kids, and even some of us as adults, who why would you friend anybody you work with on Facebook?
But they do it all the time,
right? But they
don't
get a chance to.
There isn't any rules. There isn't any rules to understanding that people at work are not necessarily your friends. Okay, because everybody you need to leave things in context of where they are. Right?
And I think that also helps it helps how you engage on social media. Because there are certain things, and I'll say this, Passion and I every day throughout the week. You should see our text messages or inbox messages because it's stuff we can't put on social media. It's stuff I can't put on social media.
Right.
So it's Messenger or screenshot, look at this or what have you. And because I know better than to put it on my page.
Right. Exactly.
Because how people are going to perceive that. And I've even had a situation when you talk about coworkers. This was a few years ago. Somebody took something I said completely out of context because I am cognizant of what I put on my page and how it's communicated, and actually tried to have the conversation again at work. Please, anything I put on my social media, do not bring this into work, and completely distorted it, trying to make it sound like it was a conversation about Trayvon, and literally it was literally a post. And it was I wasn't taking a side one way or other. It was just a post about Trayvon. And just how he contorted the image and wanted to bring it to work is like, unfriend. I can't deal with you or what have you. And he had me question. I'm asking people, read this. Tell me what you think about this. Like, what did I do wrong? You know? But people do that, you know? When you have, I guess on social media, that's another thing. There's no context. You can't hear the tone. You can't hear, have that engagement. So you
like
just
a text message.
You filter it based on your filter, not necessarily the person's filter who posted it.
Or it's based upon your perception of how you want to interpret the message. So I could literally post that the sky is blue. And someone who doesn't believe that the sky is blue can then interpret that as something completely else. Now, the sky is blue is kind of black and white. But if I don't believe the sky is blue, or I think the sky is a part of the master plan that they want us to believe that there's a sky and there is no sky because there is no limit. And it's like, okay.
So you must be a part of that master plan.
Right.
So you a part of that whole system that's trying to send us all.
You are the
we
problem.
About to die, y'all. Why said the sky was blue?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
A part of this research that was conducted, there were men and women ranging from ages 28 to 73 that were active social media users, and they found out that 60% of people using social media reported that it has impacted their self-esteem in a negative way. This is kind of whether we may not be as close to 28 as we want to, but unfortunately, this is our age range at this point in time. So 60% of the people using social media reported that it has impacted their self-esteem in a negative way. 50% responded social media had a negative effect on their relationship. We know we have relationship problems to begin with. So now you done put social media onto that, adding an additional layer. This is why any man who want to date me, we're not friends on social media. Don't send no friend request. I'm not going to accept it. Don't ask me why. No, you can ask why, and I'm going to tell you, this may not be good for us. Right?
And I think it goes back to also to not have an opportunity to disengage when you talk about access. So when you said whatever someone's doing on social media, they're doing out in the street. But social media allows you to bring the street in the house. You know? So again, you don't have an opportunity to kind of disconnect. It's continuous.
Just like the bullying that you talked about. It's 24/7. And there's consistent and constant access. And we have to have it.
Exactly.
So there's no reset.
I'm gonna tell you, it's funny because my ex, he was not a phone person. When I tell you he had one of those Nokia phones that had the little rubber buttons.
The block.
Yeah.
It was just one piece.
And he kept that phone to the button literally till it fell off.
Oh my God.
But one of the things that happened when he got him a touch screen phone, Hunty.
Own it.
He constantly. That's all you hear. And I'm like, before when I'm used to looking you in your face. Now all I'm looking at is the top of your head because you constantly hear. And that was an adjustment for me because I was like, wait a minute.
Who's this?
Why are you constantly on your phone? Because when I get home, like even now, when I get home, my phone will be in my purse. I'll put my purse down. I don't touch my phone for like an hour and a half. I don't touch it. That's my way of woo-sign it out,
Mm-hmm.
shaking off my day.
Yeah.
Let me disconnect for a little while, and then I'll pick up my phone. But yeah, it was an adjustment watching him. Now you're engaged into something that's outside of me.
Did you ever
Mm.
think
That
did
was
you ever
deep.
right?
I'm sorry.
And that's what
Wow.
did you ever allow for your mind to think that it was something other than what it was?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Because where something was never an issue is now an issue. It does. Even the most secure person can become a little bit insecure. Like, I'm used to having your attention. I'm used to you like, hey babe, how was your day?
Mhm.
What did you do? Who did you talk to? Now you're like,
You
yeah,
should've
my face in this phone. I don't care about what your how
Mhm.
your day.
Mhm.
Nice. Welcome home. And
Mhm.
and it's like now you don't have that attention on you from your significant other, and now you have to like, okay, I need to adjust my thinking, and especially coming from a person I'm super secure and confident in who I am, but now here comes this insecurity, and I'm like, I don't like this.
Mhm.
And so you don't want to take ownership of it because now you're embarrassed by it. So
Right.
now you want to make it about him being on the phone.
Absolutely. So, Sincere, I guess I'll pitch it to you. As do you and your wife have rules as far as when you use the phone? Like, it's off limits in the bedroom, it's off limits at a certain time of the day or night or what have you, or is there just a organic respect for each other that you all kind of abide to?
It's organic, sister. I'm a
Mhm.
holistic person, and what that means is that everything that has a priority,
Mhm.
that's what's important.
Got it.
Spirit, mind, body. So when we get together, it's an organic process.
Mhm.
When we're communicating, that's what's most important. Because in social media, most of your communication is lost. There is no body language
Mhm.
on social media. It's only what you perceive and what the person that's posting wants you to perceive.
Absolutely.
So we keep what's important the most important.
Absolutely.
Cynthia, I think I need to swab the inside of your cheek so I can close.
What?
She needs some
I
DNA.
need some DNA.
But you know,
Get
while
this
he was
petri dish going.
but while you said that, it actually like a light bulb went off, and it's not like you said something that's not common sense, but I think we need to get more in tune in the face-to-face interaction that we have
Yes.
with people. So it actually reflected me back to a time in which I was dating this guy, and I'm not even going to get into it, but I remember we went to dinner, and it was one of the times where I allowed myself to get caught up on my phone.
Mm.
And I didn't know what that looked like at the time. I know what it looks like now. And in hindsight, I say to myself, well, did I already know that our relationship was kind of going? So, because before that I was in tune. We was in tune.
Right, yeah.
And this particular time we went out to eat, I was just like this. And he said something to me. And I did put my phone down.
You put it down or did you put it away?
Down. Put it down. I had
There's
to.
a difference.
I'm gonna put it down right now.
Right now.
Right. But I'm going to pick it back up.
Oh, it's getting picked up. But you said something in regards to having the connection with your wife, or just being in the moment.
Yeah.
And I clearly was not in the moment, and I see that in hindsight.
Mhm.
So I'm going to take the opportunity more to be more, and I try to, but you just reignited a flame in me that I'm going to take the time to be more cognizant of being in the moment when I have face-to-face contact, when I'm in front of someone, because we don't have that all the time. We do have the phones and the computers and the instant messages and the emails at work and stuff like that. But when you're actually in a moment, feed that energy that you have with that person.
Right.
I'm gonna do that.
It is so funny you should say that. A few years ago, we went to Jazz in the Gardens in Miami, and Erykah Badu was on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, anytime you go to any event, all you see is everyone with their phone up recording.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so she's on the stage, and she literally said, "Put your phones down. I'm right here. Like, I'm right here.
Be in the moment.
Be in the moment."
Right.
And that resonated with me. And I'm not one of the ones who records, because one of the things I found out a long time ago, even prior to the camera phones, even with taking pictures, because I love to travel, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
So even if you go back and look at this concert, it's not the same.
No.
Actually, my memory is more vivid
Absolutely.
than the picture or the video. So I tend not to, sit
we
there.
we
with
take the we
record.
don't take the pictures most of the time for us.
Right.
Right.
We
Ah,
take the pictures
for everybody
for
else.
everybody
Gotta flex
else.
for that gram. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
We take the pic.
Facebook stunting, honey.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I remember being at a concert one time in which I was taping something and it clicked to me as well because I was not enjoying the concert at that point in time because
Right.
I was more about getting these angles,
Right.
making
Mhm.
sure that I was ready to go.
Right.
And I had to put my phone away and consciously say to myself, come on,
Yeah.
you got somebody in front of you, you're at a
Mhm.
concert, this is an artist that you like, and you're missing out because you're trying
The
to
experience.
the
You're looking
experience.
through your phone at
Mhm.
somebody that's actually in
Mhm.
front of you.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I went to
That's deep. You looking through your phone at
Right.
somebody who's in front of you.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I went to a Jill Scott concert at Chastain Park many years ago. Probably like the second year I was living here after we moved here from New Jersey. And, phones wasn't popping back then. If you had one, you had one. But if you didn't, oh well. And I remember vividly that
Mhm.
experience. I remember crying when she got on stage and when she was singing her songs because I love her.
Mhm.
And I didn't catch any of that on a cell phone or anything, but
Right.
I could see it in my head like it
Absolutely.
happened yesterday.
Clear as day.
And when you talk to people who are so plugged in and they're recording the wedding or recording the concert or recording the graduation or the baby shower, and you ask them, how was it? Oh, it was cool.
You get the generic answer.
Right. Oh, it was cool.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, what did you do? Like, did you, what kind of gifts? Oh, she got some stuff.
Mhm. Some baby
Mhm.
stuff.
Right. The wedding was nice. Her dress was cute and stuff. Here, let me show you the dress.
Right.
Yeah.
And start scrolling through it. And I'm like, but even down to how people greet you now
Mm.
is affected by the interaction on social media. When Sincere walked in, we got here a little early. You guys were still doing the
Mhm.
earlier podcast. And so Sincere and I were sitting in the other room, the waiting area. And when he walked in, he made eye contact with me. He shook my hand. It was firm. He engaged me in conversation immediately.
Mhm. He has a very strong presence.
Right.
Mhm.
But a lot of people don't know how to do that. And I don't know if he picked up on it, but I was a little surprised by it because it's not what I'm used to.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is a grown man. And he's not one that
Grown ass
Well,
man.
you when we're interacting on social media, we don't have to make eye contact.
Right.
We don't have to shake
Right.
someone's hand. We don't even have to be sincere about what we're saying. So
Mhm.
that's where the decreased social skills comes into play because social media allows for you to put a LOL behind everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something about this LOL, okay?
Ooh, that's shade. LOL is shade.
LOL is shade.
Right.
So when someone says something, especially when it's something that is controversial or there's an argument or they could be trying to say something sideways and they put a LOL behind it, no.
No.
It ain't no laugh out loud.
Mm-mm.
Okay? Now, they want you to kind of take it in context of, oh, I'm just playing. No, they're not playing. The LOL is throwing you the middle finger. Okay?
Yes.
That LOL telling you to go to hell.
That
Yes.
LOL is telling you to go to
Go
hell.
to hell.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that was them two L's stand for.
Right?
I got you.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can't even be honest with someone. Even the fact of you seeing someone's comment on social media and you putting something, replying, like, why do you feel as though you have to say anything? So if you don't like something that someone
Because
has said,
I'm important.
because I'm important.
My words.
If you
are
don't like
important.
something that someone says,
scrolling.
why keep scrolling? Why you
Yeah.
gotta write something that you truly mean and put an LOL behind it like you're playing?
Mm.
Or just not respond. Don't say anything. Would you say that in front of that person?
Right.
No.
No, because I get my ass kicked.
Right.
So why they'll make a post. Why are people? I'm so tired of people posting pictures of their kids' first day of school. Why? Why do you care?
And just scroll by it if you don't.
It's a happy moment for this person, whoever's posting it. They're not taking anything away from you. They're not seeing your child ain't shit because they stay back in kindergarten 3 times. You know what I'm saying? They're not saying any of that. They're proud of their child.
You said 3 times, kindergarten?
3 times.
Yes.
Oh,
They failed graham crackers. I don't know.
little Tony need to sit out.
But it's like why must you people take the opportunity on social media, and excuse the phrase, to shit on another person's happiness. If I'm posting pictures of me and Bay and all we doing is having a good time in the park and I'm having, and that's what I post, oh, they're not really happy.
But that goes back to the bullying and people wanting to just rain on other people's parade because they don't have the courage to do it face to face.
Right.
So everything that I'm afraid to do in your face, I'm going to hide behind my keyboard
and
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We said 2 things. We talked about happiness in moments. Where happiness is actually created in a moment.
Absolutely.
And you can create other moments and attach that happiness to it, but we say things or we do things like have a bad day, or we say that I had a bad day. Do you know how many moments in a day?
Right.
Do you know how many
So your whole day was bad?
It is to be happy, and you chose something else?
Right.
But that's what we do with the social media. We get in that negative space, and it's like, whose day can I make bad today?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
instead of shining the positive.
I don't care about people enough to try to tear them down. I don't. That's the best way I can say it. I'm like, okay, you have a life, you have a life, you have a life, I have a life. I'm so busy trying to live my life and not get sucked into my own pitfalls when they happen.
And it's easy
that I don't care about what y'all doing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm busy.
Right.
I can look if Pasha posted something saying, when you posted the other day, you want to create full time. That resonated with me and I liked it. Did I have anything deep and profound to say about it? Hell no. But go and get this like, boo, because I feel you. You know what I'm saying? But then, you have some people who their platform, they use Facebook to complain about everything, every little thing. I got home and one of the slices of bread in my loaf had a hole in it.
And honestly, that's like attention-seeking behavior.
Yes,
that's exactly
it's attention-seeking behavior,
and I can't deal with that. And I will. And my thing is, I'm not going to go on your page and dog you out and be like, get your whole life together, even though that's what I'm thinking. I'm just going to disconnect from your page.
Unfollow.
I'm going to unfollow you.
I do that.
Well, just point them to me, sister, because I like to pour into those folks. They just lost. They lost lamb. So my thing is, just give them some positivity. Maybe they can consider something different.
Come on over here. Sincere, got you.
Yeah, come on, see Uncle Sincere.
Right.
Life ain't that hard. You just got to get it together.
Right.
That's all.
Do you believe that 80% of the people that were polled thinks that it's easy to be deceived by others through their social media, their sharing on social media?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think consciously, with us sitting at the table, we can consciously say, social media is fake. We know about the filters. We know people in real life or what have you. But I think people get caught up. And again, we know that it affects the mental. And you start, people who you may not be so close to, may not know. You may say, this may be real. Like, those filters are real. So let me tell you, and I'm going to bust my friend now. I'm not going to say her name. I'm not going to say her name.
Me?
No, not you. I'm not going to say her name, but I'm going to tag her when this podcast comes out.
It's Passion
When I tell you, and I tell her, because of her, I have trust issues. She put me on to the photoshopping of the picture before we get up. So she doesn't live here. And so when I saw her, I'm like, oh, girl, you better do it. Girl, you looking good. And she still looks good.
Right.
But she put a little something extra on the pictures, and she put a little more curvature on the pictures.
She put that curve in that back.
She put that curve in that back. And I'm like, girl, I didn't. She said, girl, all my pictures needs to be vetted before I put them on. And I'm like, girl, you crazy. But as a result, I don't believe nobody pictures now. Like, you got a filter, you Photoshop in your picture. Like, I just don't believe it.
That's called the paradox effect.
Oh, there's a name to it.
It's an illusion between what's real and unreal. These people have created this.
That's it.
Why does she have to? Who is she? Is she Kim Kardashian? No shade, but is she Kim Kardashian? Like, why? Why can't who you be? Now it's different to get your filters on, because when my skin ain't doing what it need to do, I may need to change this to a warm filter or something. You know what I'm saying?
A
sun glow. If my background is not right, this may need to be a vivid cool. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to be photoshopping anything.
So let me ask you this. So what's the difference? Because you're altering both.
No.
So whether you're putting a filter on or photoshopping, you're altering your image.
I'm not altering. No, well, I'm not altering this flesh. It may change the look of it.
No, like she
sincere.
You're altering the image.
But it's the same thing when we do our angles. We sit up this way and hold the phone.
I'm okay with the angles.
My stomach is gone and my thighs look like they popping.
Well, you know what? I just don't have the time for that because social media isn't my life. Like, I got extra weight on me. Shit, when you see me, I'm gonna have extra weight on me. Right. So ain't no reason for me to arch the back the way no more. You know what I'm saying? Because when you see me, you're gonna be like, that wasn't you.
Right.
So what that arch is? I gotta wear that arch.
Right. You ain't got no arch. You just got a blue. Like what?
Ladies, it's like this. Like if we're not 100% comfortable with the life that we live in now, we can take this social media and create an alternate reality.
Yep.
And we can do it instantly.
Yep.
In a microwave society. So that becomes the fix for the moment.
You're right.
It's a temporary fix.
Absolutely.
It's easier for me to fix my pictures than it is for me to get my
fat ass
in the gym and work on my own arch with them squats and that weight.
You know how many times this week I said I was gonna go to the gym?
We're digressing. Get back to.
I'm just trying to get out of the paradox effect.
But you know what? When you go on Instagram and you look at because I shop, because I love Fashion Nova because I love their jeans. Okay.
Fashion Nova will have you thinking.
What?
Fashion Nova ain't paying us, but we're going to talk about Fashion Nova right quick.
Yes.
They'll have you thinking that when you put on those high-waisted jeans, that you're supposed to look like you have that 24-inch waist and that 48-inch hip, and you'll walk around looking like a damn
busted can of biscuits.
Yep. Bump, bump, bump. It
Man.
will, but that's what we see,
Right?
Like social media has even gotten to the point where the algorithms, they think they know our algorithms. Facebook, right? So I'll be looking at something on Amazon.
Girl,
why is it showing up as a suggestion on Facebook? You're doing too much.
Right.
So I think, and I know that even clicking on something on Instagram, it then feeds and pulls into this bullshit of people who's 50 sizes smaller than I am. It's pulling that onto my feed. So when I continuously see that, and the only way for me not to see that is to say I don't want to see it, right? I can't even say what I want to see because you're automatically giving to me.
Right.
Facebook has automatically put this shit into my face that I have to see it all the time. I will spend more time trying not to see it than I will to see it. Mm-hmm. And for someone who's not in tune, I can see how this affects with their anxiety, with their self-esteem, with depression. Oh, I get it. And if you're not strong enough to just back away, or if you're not strong enough to realize this ain't real.
Right.
This even with these Fashion Nova models.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. Y'all done found somebody who has this ass to hip to stomach ratio that God don't make.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's probably Photoshop.
Absolutely.
Right.
What about social media and our careers? Talked about a little bit about Roseanne in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if everybody's aware that companies are now using, especially these high-tech companies, they're perusing their employees' social media pages.
Absolutely.
So not only that, they peruse it during the recruitment phase.
Mm-hmm.
So you may not even get the call back due to what's on your social
Right.
media.
Yeah.
Also, once you become an employee, they peruse. So one of the, was it TED Talk?
Mm-hmm.
Was it TED?
I probably seen it.
One of the ones. So this lady, she listed a couple things that really caught my eye. One, she said they're looking for alcohol use, drug use, racial and sexist comments. But what really caught my attention is Sylvia. You're going to appreciate this based on what you said earlier. She said they look for how often you post and when you post. So if you're supposed to be working and it's
At
10 o'clock,
at 10:30,
10:30,
and you're on social media,
and they see postings that's coming up on your feed every 30 minutes or every
you're
hour
not working.
while you're technically at work, you're
Right.
not working.
Right.
They pay attention to that.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
They do.
And that can affect whether or not you get a job for those who are out there looking for a job.
Or actually keep a job, because there's.
Right.
So I have some information about terrible tweets. Right?
Terrible tweets.
Terrible tweets. This guy went on Twitter and talked about my job sucks.
Uh-oh.
They won't give me more money. Right? Lost his job. Lost it. Your job sucks? It does? You don't like being here?
Let me help you out.
Right. Companies can use that information to fire you.
Yeah, it's public information.
In the UK, there was an employee. It says that she worked at Ivel Marketing and Logistics in the UK. She talked about her job was boring. She went on Facebook. She gave it to them. So they called her into the office. They said they handed her a letter of resignation, and they cited her Facebook comments as the reason for her dismissal.
Well,
So you gotta watch.
You gotta watch it.
Right.
When you got a boss.
When you got a boss. Again, with Roseanne.
Right.
If she had her own network, or maybe if the words and the context that she was trying to proclaim wasn't a hot item at this point in time, it probably would have been okay. But per my recollection, the head of ABC is a sister.
Yeah, right.
Okay? So here it is. You're exercising your First Amendment right, freedom of speech.
And you can.
Right.
But there
But
are
there are
repercussions.
But you can't
Consequences,
choose the
right.
reaction
You
to
can't.
your action.
You can't.
Exactly.
That's it. Be free.
Be very free.
You understand?
It comes with consequences.
And now you're to the point where you have a crew of people. So you had your co-hosts, you had the people that came onto the job from production and directing and editing and all of that stuff.
Right.
And based upon what you said, your loose ass mouth trying to claim it on Ambien, okay?
Right.
These people don't have a job anymore.
Right.
Like, the entertainment industry is not necessarily for the faint at heart.
Right.
So you jeopardize because you wanted to say something. You
Right.
jeopardizes people's job, people's careers and paychecks. Some of these people ain't had paychecks in a long time.
Yeah. She's used to making those comments, but in this social media era, you can't just say what you used to say behind closed doors to your friends, and even in the faces of some people doing certain situations. Now the world gets a chance to see your thoughts.
And it's the climate, because this isn't new.
Absolutely.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
when she was making those comments before, the climate was a little different, and people weren't necessarily responding the way they're responding now,
Right.
based on she had on a Hitler outfit, and she was baking people, cookies shaped like people in the oven. And even when you think back when she did the Star Spangled Banner. In this age now, she couldn't do that now, because if they making a big deal about somebody taking a knee, they for daggone sure wouldn't, be receptive to her doing that.
She will get a pass before a black man.
Well, I don't
takes a
think
knee.
in this day.
She will get a pass.
Yeah.
She will.
And they will call it free speech.
I think the only reason
Freedom of
why it
expression.
went so far and she got fired in this day, I'm going to say it. This is just Pasha. Not even Pasha B, because I can't get sued for the company. This is just my personal, that there's a black woman that was over this company.
Right.
No, because if it was my company,
Right.
mine, no. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Right.
She is out of here. If it was a another ethnicity
Right.
that was the head of ABC,
Mhm.
this may not have happened. Like you said, this woman been doing this forever.
Yes.
Ever.
That's who she is.
They
That
know
is who she is.
Mhm.
You just insulted a black woman and your boss is a black woman. Try that shit at your job. Tell me how that worked out.
But you know what? I'm gonna give y'all an example. I worked with someone, and she was like, "So friend me." She sent me a friend request on Facebook, and I accepted it against my better judgment. But when the thing about me, I'm calculated at times. When I accept a friend request from someone, I don't really comment. I don't like stuff. I just watch. And I pay attention. Right. I pay attention to how a person moves and how they post and the things that they say on their personal pages. Okay, because it's the word personal page. They have this false sense of security, and they think they can say and do what they want. Okay,
Right.
do your thing. So I just sit back and I watch, and I saw some craziness out of her, but it wasn't momentary craziness. It was consistent.
Oh.
So I unfriended. And so when I went to work, she goes, Sylvia, I noticed you unfriended me on Facebook. First of all, my brain said, you only got like 5 people following you, so you
Notice
know
anybody.
you know when I unfriended you, but okay, whatever.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, I sure did. And she was like, may I ask why? I said, because I don't do crazy. Honey. She said, what do you mean? I said, I'm not licensed, certified, degreed, or diplomaed to deal with mental illness. So that being said, I chose to unfriend you because I chose not to be a party to it. I'm not even going to be a spectator of it. I removed myself from the situation. Needless to say, Chicky Poo stopped speaking to me. Oh well, my feelings ain't hurt. Keep it moving.
Send over to me, dog.
She needs some sincere.
Yeah, we're gonna spread some sunshine.
But she was Facebook friends with other people, and she did some shady stuff, like showing supervisors like, oh, such and such called out sick. They really wasn't sick. They was
she's a snitch.
Can we talk about that?
She's a snitch.
Yeah.
Because that's happened before. Where a friend of mine, she's a friend, and we used to work together, and she called out. But she's posting on social media that she's out having a good old time. And I text her and I'm like, girl, I need you to take this off your page.
Right.
People aren't cognizant of that. You're not going again. If you're
Why
not going
why
to go to
not
work,
though? Why not? Look, if I called out sick,
you know why? Because they don't understand that whole ripple effect as far as ain't no manager on my page.
Yeah.
It don't have to
no
be the manager. You're
on my
absolutely
page.
right, though.
That screenshot is real. So your coworkers who don't like you or people who don't like you, oh, look at so-and-so, they're here. It could just be a conversation that's overheard while somebody's in the break room or whatever.
And it could even be unintentional.
That's what I'm saying. It could be unintentional where we're having a conversation and I'm like, girl, look at Sylvia. She here. And Sylvia boss walking by and Sylvia boss knows Sylvia. Hold up, Sylvia called out. Let me listen to this conversation a little more, and then Sylvia's going to get it.
It goes back to what we were stating earlier. Now, it only takes about 3 weeks to establish a habit. So when you're doing something on a habitual basis, you call out, all you're doing is following what your habits are. So it's time to post. I got a little extra time. I'm seeing what people, shoot, they got a trip going on. I got a trip going on too. Y'all check this one out.
Let me one up
over here. Let me over here. But girl, ain't you supposed to be at work? See, that's the things that we don't think about when we establish these bad habits.
It's rewiring your brain.
Right.
Absolutely. We got to do better.
You're not looking at my notes over here. But just to elaborate on the whole career thing, that definitely is an aspect of social media I really don't think people think about. No. And that was a good point as far as a habit. You have this habit of posting that there's a disconnect as far as how it can affect other areas, especially your career.
Becomes absent.
Right. Absolutely.
So Sincere is going to hopefully perform for us, but we are going to close out the podcast because I want to record this.
Oh. Okay.
Uh-oh.
But I do have something to say because in the last, and not to date the podcast, but in the last week we have had a couple of people, prominent people who have committed suicide, right?
Mm,
Yes.
Yeah.
So where we talked about social media being negative, for those that actually need some positive affirmation, social media can play a large role in them actually realizing that the impossible is possible. So we can't always just look at social media being negative. Someone can be going through a horrible day, horrible time period in their life, horrible breakup, and Sincere could have it be a video of him reciting a piece, or Sincere posting something that happened about the day because he's all about positivity, right? And that could be what they need to get them out of that rut for right now. Sylvia could have posted something about getting a new job or something. Somebody's in a rut about not being in the best place of their life. And seeing Sylvia do that could be a positive thing for them. So we don't always want to look at social media as feeding the negative. Social media does feed the positive, and there are positive people on social media that actually give you that inspiration for the day or feed your soul for that period of time. So for those who need it, we just need to find the balance of when social media goes astray and becomes a bad thing versus our insight into the what if or the other at that point in time. But I think social media is the other. Like, that's not really life. That's the other. But it's not a problem for you to tiptoe into the other and see what's going on. Yes,
Where are
ma'am.
we on time? You got a minute?
She got her fucking notes.
I know. Actually, I don't have my notes, but it just popped into my head. So, based on everything that we've discussed, you have kids? Okay. So
the community's children are my kids.
Mine too. We're the village.
Yes,
we are the village.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, based on this conversation, the things that we know of social media, how do parents regulate their children's use of social media? If you know that the effect that it's having on you or adults, how do you regulate?
I think that question can only be answered by those who are actually cognizant of the effects of social media. You have, sometimes I see children 3-4 years old with the iPad on it. And I'm kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if the masses of people realize how negatively social media can be. Cause shit, all of us are on social media to a certain degree.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, I have a child. I pull my child's phone every once in a while to see what she has going on. But my child is also not a child into social media. So her feed dry.
Really, Mama?
I just be like, here you go. You ain't got nothing going on. No texts, no feed. Like, and there was a time in which I think I was a little taken aback when she was following, I don't want to lie, it could have been Cardi B or like Nicki Minaj. You know, those photos could tend to be kind of, but because my child is not tuned into social media like that, I'm trying to allow her to figure out who she is by also keeping her grounded. So because she's not always on social media, now what she is always on, part of social media is YouTube, but she's trying to get eyebrows together.
Right.
So she's not necessarily allowing for that part of social media to impact her life as much. But I think you got to understand the effects of social media in order for you to be able to regulate your kids. Just like you have to, and just as a side note, you have to understand the effects of negative eating and unhealthy eating in order to then better prepare foods and buy better products for your kids. You got to be in tune with it.
Right. Well, my son unfriended me when he was 13.
Oh, wow.
Well, first of all, he got a Facebook page without permission.
So how did that make you feel?
So I said, "Oh, you created this Facebook page without permission from me or your dad?" And he was like, "Yeah." But, his father and I discussed it, and he was like, "Okay, he's 13. The people that he's friends with on this page is a couple of his school friends and mostly his cousins. Right? So no harm, no foul, whatever. You can have it. But one of the rules is, because his father didn't have a social media account at the time, I did. I said, I need to be a friend on your social media page." He was like, "Okay, Mom, whatever." So we get into
It goes down in the DM.
It does
go
go
down
down
in
in the DM.
password.
listen. I had but look, I got that too.
Okay.
So then he got in trouble at school, and so he got in trouble at school. So we put him on punishment, and so he took his phone and he unfriended me because he was mad because he was on punishment.
Oh, we shutting this.
So I was like
down.
this. So I did just like this. I said, "Oh, I'm no longer a friend. Then you no longer have a Facebook page."
Yeah.
And I shut it down. And I did a nice long post. Jonathan does not have a
Dang, you didn't
Facebook
put him out there
page
like that, did you?
anymore.
Mama Bear said, when I go to sleep, the lights go off, damn it.
Thank you.
Okay?
And so,
All of them.
And so it was like, you just gonna unfriend me? So I had attitude. So I'm gonna shut you down. So he didn't come back on Facebook, but then when he got on Instagram, I was, he followed me on Instagram. I follow him on Instagram. And I told him, I said, don't follow me on Instagram because some of my stuff ain't none of your business. I'm gonna follow you though, because you my child. Now that my son is 20, and for all intents and purposes is an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Can he unfriend you now?
Oh, he does not. I don't even know what his handle is on Instagram so that I can follow him.
That is hilarious.
He said, "Mom, I did this long post on Instagram for Mother's Day, and I posted pictures of you and Dad and Grandma and Great Grandma. Okay, that sounds great, son. But I can't see your Instagram." Oh yeah, that's right. He didn't say, "Okay, here's a friend request." No, he sent it to my phone as a text message. These are the pictures I posted on Instagram. I am not allowed. No.
He don't need you in his business.
That's how he feels. Yeah. And so I do have to respect.
That's funny.
I do have to respect his right to privacy, or because he is 20. Mm-hmm. He's my baby, but he's not a baby.
Mm-hmm. Young man.
And so I don't like it. And I'm not that mother like, ooh, what you posting with this picture with your shirt off for?
And you know what? And I'm not either. But I'm friends with both of my children on all social media. Like I said, my daughter ain't got nothing popping, so I ain't got nothing to worry about. But sometimes my son is 23. Sometimes I see things and I have to respect the fact that he is a young adult. Right. So you know what? If I don't want to see it, I just keep it moving.
Right.
Because I can't tell him what to put on his social media. I try to provide guidance, but if you want to put certain things on there, that's fine. And I won't comment. I'm not going to go up there and be like, you need to, because I can unfollow him as easy, and that just not be something that I have to see.
Exactly. There's this invisible line drawn in the sand as a parent of adult children, and even if you're an auntie, or a godmother, like I'm a big cousin. My younger cousins are 25 years old, and they post stuff, and I'm like, "Why did you say that?" But I'm like, "They're grown. I can't say anything." Mm-hmm. But as a parent, I'm like, I want you to have a voice. I want you to have some of the same experiences as myself and as your father and stuff like that. And I can't hover, even though I want to.
And sometimes they won't be receptive to what you have to say.
Exactly.
Sometimes they need to get that negative feedback from the world.
Right.
Yeah.
So let them get
spanked. Because you can't protect them from it.
Nope.
Yeah, they're going to experience it. And what I would say is this: we're working with children. What you want to do is engage a young mind. When you leave them to their own devices, they're going to do what the rest of the world is doing, which is social media. Mm-hmm. Now, being an artist and somebody who teaches art, who teaches young folks and even older adults how to use the creative portion of themselves, that teaches you different things outside of what everybody else is doing. So it develops your mind, it develops your character, it develops you as a person. Mm-hmm. Our brains are split into two different spheres. Mm-hmm. So once you use your whole brain, now you have other things to tap into outside of what everybody else is doing or what people are telling you should do.
I think Sincere closed this great.
Mm-hmm. She looking at me like, don't you say nothing else. I got it. I caught it.
Can I say one more thing?
It better be one line.
It's gonna be, this is for Pasha, because when you introduced when Shanika introduced us and stuff, you was like, Sylvia. And then when she said Sincere, you was like, I want some claps.
Okay, do it again, Shanika.
We'd like to welcome our returning guest. You may remember her from our previous podcast.
And number one fan.
And number one fan and follower, Miss Sylvia.
Hello.
Give it up to Sylvia.
Thank you. I'm insecure, obviously.
But we are at the end of this podcast, and I want to thank Sylvia and Sincere for being here. I need you to stay tuned to the end because we're going to have Sincere perform. And it's going to be a video. But thank you again for tuning in. And Real Talk with Passion B does support the arts and those that create it. So if you would like to be showcased on the website, please email info@ordinarypeoplemedia.com. Please stay tuned to enjoy Sincere's performance. Thank you for everybody who tuned in and the guests that are in the studio today. And until next time,
later.
Peace.
I would like to introduce
She obeys my every command. With instrument in hand and plan in mind as I stroke her from the front, side, and behind. Sometimes, not even being able to sleep, you see, that's just how deep it is for me. I am forever infatuated and eternally elated to have known her for so long, yet the loving is so strong, it's as if we met yesterday. See, my insides burn with a passion for her as I can't stand to be away. She's living proof that blessings do exist because I see her every day. And I say that to say that she makes me feel some kind of way when we into what we're doing, strictly business, no time for play. See, when I'm down and out at times, she's hell-bent on making me feel okay. When I'm inside of her at times, she overcomes me with emotion. She's never worried about me stepping out on her because she has my undying devotion. I mean, I'm drunk off her spirit as if the shit's some kind of love potion. I'm sailing in her ocean, making every attempt to reach that place, and she uses me to her advantage and still manages to keep a smile on my face. But she has to be smitten with me too, you see, because she just won't leave me alone. I guess that's what happens when you're giving it to her right. You're making a foundation to build that on. See, my heart, it beats to the rhythm of her song. And whenever she moves, I feel an obligation to tag along. And right now, I'm a complete man because she's made this house her home. She is the orchestrator of these soulful words. I'm perfect for her. Oh, yeah, she's perfect for me. Or her name, although she can go by many, quite simply, I call her poetry.